Hey guys, it's Dush and Lockie from the SBP podcast. And today what we're going to be exploring is how to leverage content out of your events and also how to make your events better using digital content. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Just a quick reminder, if you're enjoying these videos, definitely remember to subscribe. We're trying to do these videos once a week and it's all about digital marketing. So if you're in that space, definitely hit that subscribe button and tune in to us weekly. So this week, Lockie, we're exploring what you could be doing at events and what type of content you could be creating at events. I guess the best way for us to break this down would be to look at what happens leading up to an event, what you could be doing at the event itself, and finally what you could be doing right after the event, right? Yeah. So let's quickly just have a little explore on what type of things people could be doing leading up to an event and how, digital marketing and content and all these type of things play into it. So leading up to an event, in my almost personal opinion, it's all about if you do have some past content or basically past content, videos, photography, all this type of thing, where you could showcase the physical things that happened at your event. That's actually a really good kind of engaging type of pieces that you could be doing with an audience that you're trying to engage for the future, right? Yeah. So wherever you can show the real deal from the past into what people are going to be heading into, that's probably the best case scenario you've got, right? Yeah. Any thoughts on this, Lockie?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's, around building anticipation is the, way to summarize that is if you're going to attend or you want to attend or even thinking of attending an event, you want to know that it's going to be fun. It's going to educate you or give you the information you wanted, or you're going to be able to find the product that you want to find there, whatever it be, the reason you're going to that event. You want to foresee that you're going to, get that return that you're looking for. And that's about you as the marketer for the event, building that anticipation for that day and, or even just, confirming for them that that's exactly what they're going to get. Now, there's obviously the other aspect of what you're saying is the feeling and showing them, and then there's the getting that out there to the right people as well.
I guess I jumped the gun a little bit, but yeah. I mean, it's all about creating hype, like you're saying.
Exactly.
And where I was coming from was more of a creative point of view of you need to showcase all this hype that you're trying to create. And the best way to do it is leveraging that past content if you do have any. Now, let's say you don't have any past content, or you're dealing with a very limited amount of content. What do you do?
Now, that's where I think it can get a bit more sticky. Obviously being something like an event, an actual physical day, or it's hard to give the potential attendee a true view of what that day is going to be. But what you need to take is the essence and the feeling and the, what's the word?
What could be expected.
Yeah. So the features, of the event, and take that and put that into content that accurately represents what will actually occur on that day. So a good example is how a lot of festivals, music festivals do their lineup lists, and they'll have a nice a song in the background and just start, it's purely about the artist, right? So they'll have the music playing, that is that type of music that would be playing on the day, and they're showing you the artist names. That's exactly what the day is going to be. So for something that, might be a business event, you would simply, use images of, if it was a networking event, business people networking, and start listing out the activities or the speakers that you would have there at the event. And it's simply about, informing them, maybe not through visuals, but more so through text, and the feeling that you portray in that content.
Yeah. So hypothetical examples would be if you've got a lineup of presenters that are going to be speaking on the day. I know it's a very hypothetical example, but if you manage to get Gary Vee to your event, definitely talk about that leading up to the event. That's the type of things that people want to hear. And just almost a general rule of thumb, get involved with a video editor or a graphic designer and kind of work with them on trying to create some of the content, especially if you haven't banked much of it up. Getting a little bit creative and, using the headshots of the people that are about to come and everything like that. About to present is probably the type of thing that you want to be doing. And moving forward, say we're on the day of the event, or we're a week before the event, and we're trying to plan out the type of things that we could be doing at the event as far as making content. Let's have a bit of an explore of what that could be. One of the first things that comes to mind is user-generated content. And this is more if you've got a lot of consumers and people like this involved in attending your event. That's probably where it's a lot more active, this user-generated type of content. So what do we mean by user-generated content? The way I've understood user-generated content is getting your potential customers or existing customers or people within your audience, attendees, to be creating content around the event. Basic example is when they check in with a hashtag, or at the venue itself checking in saying that, hey, I'm at this event. Let's explore some more ideas in that kind of space.
I think one thing, like with user generated content, like it's clear that it's become one of the biggest parts of how you can create an online presence, and that's prevalent with all of the social influencers that are on Instagram mainly these days. That's how they've built their whole business around their personal brand. So user-generated content, I guess, has stemmed from our way that we look towards celebrities, and now it's gone on to influencers because we've wanted to see media be, I guess, a lot more relevant to us. So rather than idolizing celebrities and what they're wearing and what they do, we've brought that to a more local sense. And then again, that's what user-generated content is trying to tap into, that feeling of influencing people through others within their network. So that's a very powerful thing, and if you're not doing it, you're certainly missing out on a lot of opportunity. And not just for events, even just for businesses who have a physical premises, they could be getting their customers,
custom staff even could be considered user generated.
Cafes do it a lot of the time and give away free products for it. But that's the other thing, is how do you motivate the user generated content? Because just because you say you have a hashtag does not mean someone's going to use it, and doesn't mean they're going to even take a photo, because if they don't post, they're not going to post just because you have a hashtag. So
look, for me, I love the psychology behind marketing and sales and all that kind of stuff. Gets me really excited. And I guess like a little tip or a secret tip is you got to learn to play with your audience's ego to get a lot of this happening. It's not in a mean, manipulative way, but what's the win for the people that are going to use this hashtag or check in or whatever it is? In a lot of cases, when it's in a social kind of environment, it's got a lot to do with rubbing their ego the right way. So so you're going to be more popular, you're going to look cooler, whatever it is. So you, as a business or as a marketer, learning to play with some of those things is something that you could probably really leverage for your business.
And even tangible things like that's something that I guess you could say that you're going to get recognition, so you're going to be seen at the event on our board or whatever. If you win this, you get a chance to be on our social media page, something like that. But I think the even bigger aspect of it is actually giving back, because of the value of user generated content. Individuals have so much more reach than brands these days that it's actually worth like nearly even paying customers to do posts. And I know you don't want to frame it that way, but you're going to get more reach than you would in doing it through ads. So why not give away products for user generated content? Because it is just as valuable as you paying for advertising, and nobody questions doing that. So I think that's one way. And then the other aspect of I guess getting user generated content would be ensuring that you communicate it So communicating it before the event, letting them know that there will be a hashtag on the day as they walk in, as they check in, up on the screen at the event, wherever you can. You really have to keep reinforcing that message to use the hashtag as well.
A quick little tip is there's so many, I guess in the last 5 years, there's a lot of companies that have popped up for this kind of digital display and wireless Wi-Fi connectivity of being able to make like socials pop up on screens throughout your facilities and all that kind of stuff. So it's really cost effective to get some of these live displays and stuff like that at your events. And a real good way to like even, again, kind of like boosting that ego play a little bit is imagine when someone tags something that they're doing at an event or they post a selfie of them at the event. Imagine throughout the day there's an opportunity for them to see themselves on a big screen of what they just posted. So that kind of stuff really also encourages people to be creating more of that user-generated content. Moving on, let's just talk a little bit more on the more professional, more let's spend some dollars to get content kind of element. So at an event, an important one, and I think it's a very default one now, is having a photographer there. What's the importance of having a photographer there? Let's just quickly talk on that. My opinion is that you're banking up content for the future. That's basically what it is, right? Did you have any other thoughts on any of that? Like maybe even a professional photographer versus doing stuff yourself? You know, what would your opinion be on this, Lockie? Because you're always working with both ends of it.
I think, I guess it comes down to your role in the event. If you're project managing the event, I'm sure you're not going to have time to fully dedicate yourself to photography. So it's again about banking up the content for next time when you're promoting, and having that peace of mind that it's going to be done and it's going to be done right, and you're going to have that bank for future is very important. So investing in that is, it's 100% worth your while. I guess it depends on the scale of your event and all those different elements. But I think it's something that every event needs. And even the actual fact of not always just future event promotion, but even post-event, keeping that energy rolling on. Yeah.
And I guess, we could have touched on the same type of thing for video as well, but video is no different, I'd say. I guess the only tip to kind of slide in there is, don't, as a business decision maker or a marketer, don't try go Hollywood. I'd have to put that in inverted commas on trying to do this. It's not about having some big film crew with 30 different people carrying cameras around. That's not the goal. Same thing with a photographer. It's not about feeling like a celebrity and the paparazzis around you. It's about, just making some smart decisions on how to get the best content. Hiring a videographer could simply just be a freelancer that you've paid $500 for the day to be out there gathering some content for you. Moving on, just one more thing on what you could be doing at events. We could cover this as more of a bonus tip, but live content is probably another big one for businesses to start leveraging. It could be a cost-effective way of creating content as well. The main reason I say live, and we can explore this a little bit more, is the part of events now is could be a physical thing that you're attending, but there's this other part of people from around the world, or people that just can't physically make it there wanting to be a part of these events, and live video starts playing into it, 360 video and all that kind of stuff. So, there's probably not much to explore there, but it's quite an important part, wouldn't you say, Lockie? Like, what's your experience on all of this?
Yeah, I think it's interesting to watch that space as VR trends and takes off and the technology behind virtual reality improves. I think that the live content from events, so like live casting from events, is going to be more and more important, but it's simply about extending the audience. So you can extend the audience at your event by live streaming the speakers or the musicians, whatever, depending on the type of event you're having. But it's really about having that extension of allowing someone to feel kind of like they're at your event, when they're not attending. And as I said, like the future of that is looking a lot more promising with things like even in the NBA right now, they've allowed for you to watch courtside with 360 in VR.
Yeah,
so
you can sit around as if you're
in the audience. So that is where I see the future of the live streaming in events. Right now, how can you use it? Well, try to have that same feeling. How can you make someone feel as if they were attending your event when they weren't? Obviously, it's going to be different for paid events and how you handle that. You might only want to give them a minute of the event so that they want to come to the next one, and again build that anticipation.
I guess that's a good kind of segue into the final part. It's post event and what you could be doing with all this content. So I mean, one obvious thing to know is you're not going to be creating any content post event. It's more about leveraging content that you had leading up to the event and the event itself. So it's more about, all right, what can you do with this content? Simple one is kind of like we were just exploring people that don't make it to the event or weren't physically there, recapping what happened at the event. It could be for all sorts of reasons, just giving them a reminder for what they missed out on, giving them a heads up about the next event that's coming up, all sorts of things like this. But in this recapping space, do you have any thoughts or any ideas to kind of add to that, Lucky?
Yeah, I think it's important that once you've taken that time to build an audience, bring them to your event, that you don't just drop them, because that's value. I'm sure you've spent money in that audience, and you're going to want them to come next time. So you want to keep that after the highest point, which has been your event. You want to keep that as high as possible and maintain that engagement and that enthusiasm that audience will have. So why not continue posting, continue engaging with them, even involve them in that, and open up and say, I'd like you begin sharing what your experiences were at the event. So I guess it's that point when you've finally, built a community that you want to nurture them. You don't want to just drop them and waste all that time and effort you've spent building and have to go through that all again from scratch next year.
All right, so post-event, this is all kind of leading on from the event itself and the type of things that you could be doing with the content that you've already invested in now. One place that we've seen a really, really good example of it was actually a week ago. Melton City Council, we did an event for them, did a bit of photography, a bit of 360, and it was just awesome to see that they were using the content, half an hour after the event, and, the longest time it took was getting some photos up, maybe 12 hours after the event. So that's a perfect example of how content is leveraged post-event. And I guess the encouragement for you guys is also to be doing things like this. What's your thoughts on kind of content and how you use it after the event, Lucky? Do you have any experience or tips?
Really, I think it's about just keeping that energy that you've built from that event rolling on. So you've built that community, or you've built those attendees and gotten them to that event over months of time of promotion, and that effort and investment shouldn't be just dropped as soon as the event's completed. So you want to keep that audience around potentially for next year or next event, and keep them engaged. So it's about providing a recap, encouraging them to share their experience, and that type of thing.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess it's all about keeping people aware of your brand and everything like that right after the event, and also kind of setting them up for the next year, right? That's kind of the best way to put it in a nutshell. Just some bonus tips before we wrap it up. Two key ones that I was thinking of was 360 photography at your event. It's always nice to give people a kind of in the moment experience of what it could be like if they were there. 360 is a good one to always leverage. And I guess there's no excuses for any business to not do this. Everyone's got a smartphone. Everyone's got free apps that they could be using. So making 360 photos isn't hard. And the next one is live videos. That's also another big experiment that you could be running. That's really interesting, especially if you've got a following on Facebook or YouTube or something along the lines of this. And I guess the tip is that, hey, you don't need $1,000 camera and you don't need Channel 7 to rock up for you to be able to do this. All you need is your smartphone, a stand, and you hit record, just frame up the event so that you could see what's happening, and you're good to go again. Is there anything else as far as bonus tips, Lucky? I know you're always using tools and things like this. Eventbrite, maybe? Is that a good tool in any way?
I mean, Eventbrite's great if, you don't have your own event platform or whatever it be. It's the go-to because it'll tie in with other things like your Facebook ads and everything, and just give you great. One thing that I've noticed is the data that it gives you. If you're running a Facebook ad, you can directly track purchases in Eventbrite. But yeah, I think that's key for definitely. But even just overall, stepping back from, I guess, the tools you can use, even just the approach to social media and how your event is, I guess, tied in with that is the experiences these days are a lot more valued, and if you can allow people to share their experiences or make it easier or make it fun for them to share their experiences, then it's going to happen because people want to get onto Instagram and show their family or friends what they're up to and, in a sense, brag about it. So yeah, just provide a platform for doing that, and people will, I guess, put that message out there for you.
Yeah, and I think the final thing is just with the way that digital and everything's heading is an event is usually this physical thing that's happening, but we could be experiencing events as a digital experience where people don't even have to leave their homes to be a part of certain, maybe even an expo one day, we don't know yet, but that type of thing is kind of where the future's heading. So definitely stay tuned into that. If there's any opportunities to bring attendees in purely online, look for those type of opportunities, right? But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. If you enjoyed these videos, we're making a ton more of them, so definitely hit that subscribe button. But until next time, guys, have an awesome day.